Oh. Okay, hello, my name is Simone Eziterio. I live in Numazu, Japan, where I work as a kindergarten teacher for a bilingual school here. Um, Rebecca asked me if I could share some of my thoughts about education in Japan, and I'm happy to do that. So, the first thing I think that distinguishes Japanese education from the American system um, is the amount of time that the children spend in school. In the US, we have 240 school days, maybe, and in Japan we have 100 and no, in Japan it's 240. In the US, it's 180 school days. So that's about 2 months more of school that we spend in a year, and so that summer vacation time isn't lost time, where students are likely to forget some of what is taught. Also, children spend on the average about an hour a day longer in school. And not only that, parents also are likely to send their students to cram school after school. And cram school is a private school, often in somebody's home, sometimes at an agency, where teachers teach extra on the subjects that the children or the parents are interested in learning. And so sometimes children will be going to cram school for English. Often it's math or hiragana, katakana, which is the writing system that they use here. My son is 5 and he goes to kindergarten as well. The children start Kindergarten starts at the age 3. They have 3 levels of kindergarten. They have K1, K2, and K3, although kindergarten is not compulsory. Children have to start school at age 6, in which case they go into first grade. Um, Schools spend about the same amount of money per student in Japan as they do in the US. However, where those funds are allotted is very different. We don't have janitors here at the school, which means that children do a lot of the cleaning if it's the elementary school, and at the kindergarten, the teachers do a lot of the cleaning. And if there's a special event, it's the whole team of teachers who get together and set up chairs and do that sort of thing. And it's not unusual. It's pretty common. Another difference, and this isn't so much education, but I think it's interesting. We don't have there's very little garbage brought out from a school every day. We have all the children bring a hanky. I wonder if Gabe, do you have your hanky close by? I'm just wondering if you have it over there. Anyway, it's a small cloth handkerchief that the children carry to school with them, and they put it in their pockets. And instead of using paper towels to wipe their hands, they're responsible to carry their own hanky and wipe their hands when they go after they wash their hands going to the bathroom. And so in this way, and in many ways, the children are taught to take care of themselves. In schools all across Japan, children wear uniforms. In my school, they wear uniforms which they also change when they get to school, which means they go from wearing a uniform which has a jacket, a vest, a shirt, and shorts or a skirt, to changing into sweat clothes when they get there, and then they change back into their uniforms to go home. And Gabe wants me to remind, well, not that you would know, but some days they do get to wear just their sweat clothes to school.
Only on half days.
When there's a half day. And so a half day would be if there's a special event that the teachers have to attend, or in teacher workshop days. 1 second, what else did I want to be sure to tell you?
Who are you talking to?
I'm making a video, a YouTube video. 1 second. Cram school, teachers clean.
Go see them. Go see them really soon.
We're gonna go see them really soon?
Yeah, I gotta go soon.
Yeah, we have to go soon. Okay, sorry about the delay. The academic, and this is probably all information that Rebecca will have presented, but children tend to be at a higher level, and that's by about 2 years in math and science. I have a friend who teaches at the high school, and he teaches math and says he taught in New Zealand, and the ninth graders that he's teaching are doing 11th grade work that he would have been teaching back in New Zealand, and that's fairly typical. And there are all kinds of studies done that show, across the board, Japanese schools, even the worst scoring Japanese schools, score higher than the schools in the US. And I think that has to do with the amount of time spent in school, but also the cultural difference between what's emphasized by parents in Japan versus by parents in the US often is pretty different. In Japan, they really encourage students to really excel academically, and so sometimes a parent won't even attend like a track stars big event because what's really important to them is that they attain academic excellence. And an example of that, or the importance of academic excellence, we saw an ad for one of the cram schools, and the lighting's not very good. One of the cram schools showed a student holding up a test grade. It said test, and it was 93%. And the kid was crying and crying and crying, and he had like a really dramatic, sad face. And then the next photo, which is to mean after cram school, he's holding up his exam, and it's 100%. And so that's the degree of difference, like how high the expectations are. On the downside of that, Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in all of the industrialized world. There's a lot of pressure put on children and teenagers to do well academically, and maybe if they're not doing well in that sense, their lives aren't going to amount to what their parents or what they would expect them to. We also have a friend who's an art teacher and says that to generate discussion, which includes opinions about art pieces, or just about art in general, is very, very difficult, in part because it's not what is practiced so much. There's very much emphasis placed on harmony of the group, and that is evident even at the kindergarten where I work, where students are really encouraged. Like the big discipline, instead of saying you're going to be sent to the office, it's more like you're going to disrupt the class. Are you a part of this class, or are you not a part of this class? And it's really, really like frightening for a child to imagine that they're not a part of the class. And so a teacher will take their class badge away for a minute to show that, this is a big disciplinary act. But beyond that, there's not a lot of like hierarchical discipline within the system, which means children aren't sent to the office typically, or there's no kind of detention. And I wonder if that's something that I've been having discussion with friends who work at the elementary school and at the high school, and it seems like perhaps maybe within the past 5 years there's been a shift where some of the discipline problems, where children being disruptive, have increased. So I don't know if that's something that's going to have to change at some point. But it's just interesting that it's not something that's already in place. There are, as far as having different tracks, like within one school, meaning different levels of education, everybody pretty much studies the same thing. And if there's somebody who has a special ed need, or something like autism, they go to a separate special school. So there's not a lot of integration in that sense. So the emphasis and the importance and what Japanese children are told and encouraged to do and to have in order to succeed is hard work. And there was a study that I had read last night, and I can't quote the source, but basically that typically in the United States, students' attitude is that if they're smart, then they don't have to work very hard, and thereby working really hard, like on a subject, kind of enforces and proves that maybe they're not very smart because it's not coming naturally. Whereas in Japan, a student will tell you, I'm doing well because I'm working really hard. And that's across the board. People work hard. And that's true of the Japanese staff. The school that I work at has half Japanese staff and half foreign staff. And our Japanese coworkers will typically stay